Hi, welcome back to my channel, and if you happen to be new here, thank you for stopping by. I go by the name Tony, and to join the family, consider subscribing. Now here is my back bodice pattern. I've traced it out to the waistline and I'll be cutting it on fold. So I'm just going to cut this out and that will be it. The back doesn't have a lot of things to be done on. Moving forward, this is my front bodice, also traced, and I've added in a zipper allowance, which will be our placket. It's not a zipper because we are not using a zipper in this particular video or particular tutorial. So that will be my placket. Now on my shoulder, I'm dividing what I have here by 2. Like that, then I'm joining these points. I'm connecting that point to the bust point. The next thing I'm doing, I'm confirming my bust to under bust point, then I'll mark that all round. I prefer to use my ruler. You can go around with your tape if you wish, but a ruler is better. So I'm just marking the 3 inches all round to form my bust circumference. Now from this shoulder dart, this line connecting to the shoulder, I'm marking 1.5 inch on this side, and right here I'm marking 3/4 inch. Now I'll be connecting those points to the bust point to prevent gaping on the front, on the bust area. So I'll connect the points that I'm showing you. Look keenly at what I'm doing. Now I'm connecting this point to my bust point, to that line that's my bust point. Then this other side, I'm connecting it there like that. So you can see how I've connected. Yeah, so that is it. Now I'll come from this line, that line, I'm going out 1/2 inch. Then from this outer line again, I'm going out 1/2 inch. Then I'll be joining the 2 points on my waist dart, like so. Then I'm connecting these points with curves. The way you see me connecting, that's how I'm connecting them, with smooth curves. Yeah, so what I've just done right now, I've created a new dart lines or new dart legs. So when I'll be cutting it out, I'm just shading for you to know clearly, for you to see clearly that this is our new dart. Then it's time to add in our yoke. So I'm just confirming what I have on my neckline, then I'll be dividing that by 2. So you'll have to measure this, your neck, then divide the measurement that you have by 2, then connect it to that point with your ruler, like that. So this becomes our yoke. So this is basically it for the front. There's nothing more. Can you see it? Yeah, so that's our front. Now I'm just going to cut this out. Just look keenly on how I'm cutting, because there's nothing here to explain. It's just to show you how I'm cutting. And remember to write your side front and your center front, because you might end up mixing the patterns. Even if you're not a beginner, sometimes man is to error. So just write in label your patterns, that is. I'm also separating this placket. This thing is called a placket. I don't know that yes, it's a placket, where we will put our buttons. So then this is how I'll be cutting this part. I'll just be separating the center front, the side front, and the yoke, because those are the only parts we basically need on this front pattern. Yeah, so this is how our front patterns are looking. Now I'll just be indicating the number of pieces that I'm supposed to be cutting. So for all the pieces, I'll be cutting 2, except for the placket, because we'll be having plackets on both sides, 2 plackets. So I'll be cutting 4. For the placket, it's 4. Now it's time to draft the collar. Here is my pattern paper. I'm folding it into 2, like so. Then I'll just draw a straight line at the bottom. Now on this line, I'm taking in my neck, half of my neck, my round neck measurement, which is 9, because my round neck measurement is 18. So if you're a medium sized person, you can use the same. So I'm marking 9. Then I'm marking the midpoint of 9, which is 4.5. Okay, that point that you're seeing in the middle. And from this other side, I'm going up half an inch. Then I'll connect that to the midpoint that I just marked. Remember, you're not going up from the folded part, but on this other side, like so. Now this is what I have. And for my collar stand, this is the collar stand, by the way. For my collar stand wideness, I'll be using 2 inches. So I'm just marking 2 inches all round. Then that will be it. So I'll just join this side with a straight ruler. Then for this top part, I'll be joining it with a smooth curve. If you have a French curve or curved rule, go ahead and use it at this point, because it will come out neat. And if you don't have, use my technique. Yeah, because you cannot stop creating because you don't have a curved rule. So you just use what you have. Now this is the folded part, so, and I'm just indicating a notch down there. So you, when cutting on fabric, you'll have to notch that place, not to confuse. And at this point I was adding allowance, but I did not use it, so don't add in any allowance because the collar stand will come out too big. So just cut it out from the points that we already marked. Forget about the allowance. So you'll cut that, but don't cut this side. You see the side that I'm leaving? Yeah, that's the only side that you will add allowance, but this other part, do not add in your allowance. The collar stand will come out too big. Yeah, so now this is our collar. I'm again going to draw a straight line. It's folded into 2 as I showed you. Now I've drawn a straight line from the bottom, and now I'm just marking 3 inches up, and I'm marking my 9 inch again. That's my round neck divided by 2. Then I'm still marking 3 inches up, and I'll just connect these points to form a rectangle like that. Now having our rectangle like that, I'm going to come to this corner and I'm going to go in 1 inch. Then I'll connect it like so. Yeah, just to give me a collar shape. Then on this side I'm going up half an inch. Then I'll connect that to the side with a smooth curve. Now I'll just name the pattern and put in the folds and a notch there. Then the grain on which I'll be cutting the pattern. Yeah, then I'll be naming the pattern like that. Now before cutting, I'm going to add allowance to the side, just like I did on my collar stand. Only the side, don't add allowance on the other parts. Yeah, so I have my allowance like that. Then I'll be cutting it out all through. The reason why I had added allowance on my collar stand is I just wanted to see how it will come out, if it will be too big or what, because I have never stitched down a collar before. So this is my first time stitching down a collar. So that's why I was trying to see how it will come out, and that's the goodness of patterns. Now I have cut out my patterns, as you can see. I'll be taking you through them once in a while, and as we go on, I'll be showing you how many pieces I've cut and all that. Now we will start with this front pieces. So let me just unpin them. Yeah, like that. Then I'll get off the patterns. You can even go ahead and label on your fabric so that you don't get confused. Now, but the wider part is the side front and the thinner one is the center front. Now I'm just going to pin them so that you can see how I'm going to stitch them. This is how I'll be stitching them. the way I'm pinning is the way I'll be stitching them. So this is how I'm going to stitch them. I'll just pin it first, then I'll head over to my sewing machine and I'll stitch this down. The next thing I'm going to do is to stitch these parts down, but before that I'll be hemming this part. You see this part, I'll hem it, and this part also. You can use a hemming gum if you have it. That will give it a better, a neater finish. Even this part, these top parts, you are also going to fold them or hem them the way I've done. I'm just done with that, and you can see the pieces are looking so neat. Now I'm going to stitch it, this top part. I'm going to stitch it like this up to where my dart is starting. So let me just pin it first. I'll stitch it to this point where my dart is starting. There. Make sure to repeat the same process on this other part that is stitched. And now the next thing you're going to do, you see the way it's gaping right there. Now I'm going to stitch a dart fold here just to prevent it from gaping on that area, so it will look like this. Okay, then on the other piece also I'll do the same thing. I'll fold it like this and stitch a dart here to prevent it from gaping like that. That's how it's now looking. Can you see those folds? Yeah, so that's what I was talking about. Let me bring it closer. You can see those are the parts I was talking about. Now moving on to the placket, the plackets that will be used to stitch down the buttonholes. I did cut out 4 pieces and 2 canvas pieces or gum, I don't know. Now I'm going to press the canvas on 2 pieces like so. So I'll press them and I'll be back after pressing. This is what they're looking like after being properly pressed. Now this is how I'm going to stitch them. I'm going to sandwich the front piece in between these pieces. Yeah, so the right sides are facing, yeah, like this. Just look at what I'm doing. Okay, I don't know how to explain this thing. I'm putting them like that, then I'm going to stitch here, right here, then I'll be back. Now this is what I was talking about. I know you can see. Now this is how I'm going to fold this part. I'm going to bring them to the center like this. Then this is what I have. Now this is how I'm going to fold them. Or better still, I think I'll iron this thing down, then I'll come and show you how I've folded. Now this is what I have. Can you see I've folded in both the pieces? So I'm going to stitch to top stitch, and if you want you can top stitch even the other side. Yeah, I've top stitched it here, so you can see. Yeah, now we will move to our back pieces. So make sure you notch the dart and confirm the dart length, because you're going to stitch those dart folds on the fabric. So just notch the dart part and confirm the dart length, then you're going to stitch the dart folds. Now I'll turn this to the right side after stitching down the darts. Then I'm going to place my front pieces like this, and I know the back one is longer than the front one, but don't worry about that. This is a shirt, it's like a shirt, so that shouldn't worry you. I'm going to stitch the shoulder. I'm going to join the shoulder first, the shoulders, then I'll come back and show you how we are going to adjust the down part. Yeah, so like that. Now you'll just pull it down to meet with the back piece, then you're going to stitch the sides. Now so far this is what I have. Can you see the plackets? The plackets are looking good. They are behaving themselves. Now I'm grabbing my collar and my collar stand, then I'll just unpin this, and note that these things were cut on fold. So I have 2 pieces for the main fabric, and I've also gone ahead to add in 1 piece of my canvas. Now when I open them up, this is how they're looking. You can see I have 2 pieces, 2 collar stands and 2 collar pieces. So I'm going to iron my canvas on the collars, on 1 collar stand and on 1 collar stand, 1 collar and 1 collar stand. So this is what they are looking like. Now I'm going to place the collar like this, right sides facing. Then I'm going to stitch it all round with the allowance that I gave it. Now this is what I have. Snip the corners so that when you turn it to the right sides, it will look good. Make sure you snip the corners, yeah, like that. Then turn this to the right side. Now I'm going to stitch it to top stitch like that. That's how it is looking. After you top stitch it, it looks good the way it is looking. Now identify which part has the canvas on it, and this is how you're going to place them. You're going to sandwich it like this. The pieces that have canvas should face the same side. Okay, so I'm just sandwiching the collar in between the collar stands, the two collar stand pieces. English is not in my tongue. Anyway, so I'm sandwiching it like that. Then I'm going to stitch it. Now this part that has canvas, you're going to fold it like this, then stitch the side. Then when you come to this other corner, you will stitch it, making sure it's facing up. Then you will continue the stitching where I showed you while pinning, where you saw me pinning. So I stitched it all around like that. Then I'll be turning it to the right side like this. You can see our collar has already formed. Now I'm going to top stitch again like I did on my collar. You can see once you top stitch, this thing lays flat. That's the goodness of top stitching. Then I'm just notching the midpoint. I'm now grabbing my bodice, my main part of the top. Then I'm just making sure the plackets are of equal. They are equal because one was a bit longer than the other. Then I'm also going to identify the midpoint of this part. So I'm just going to spread it out and notch the midpoint before attaching my collar, so that everything can be uniform and can lay well. And right here I'm just confirming my round neck, if this collar stand is measuring up to that, because it needs to be long enough to go around my neck for it not to choke me or for it not to be too small. So once I confirmed and I was satisfied, it was 18 inches. So I'm now just pinning in. I'm going to pin it all round and I will stitch it. So I'll just show you by pinning. Now this, when you get to this point, you are going to place this placket on the very end. Even the other placket, you will place it on the very end. I've stitched down that part and you can see how it's looking from the right side. It's looking so neat. Now this is how I'm going to stitch now this part that has the canvas. I'm going to be pulling this, the part that I've stitched, I'm going to tuck it inside this collar stand. Then I'll be folding the collar stand by about 1/2 inch. I'll be folding it in. You see the way I'm pulling this folded edge inside, just to make sure I'm covering it. So I'm going to pull them up, cover it with this collar stand by folding the collar stand in. Then I'm going to pin all the way to the end, so like that. You see how I'm folding in the collar stand Sasa you look at what I'm doing till the end, then I'll go to my sewing machine and I'll stitch this down. Here we are after stitching. Now I'm also gonna head to hem the bottom part, and here are my sleeves. I didn't want to take much time drafting again the sleeve pattern is in my channel, and the freehand cutting of the sleeve is also in my channel. So I'm going to fold it, the down part of this sleeve, like so, then I'll stitch this part. Yeah, then I'll come back after that. Now that is done, I've hemmed the bottom of the sleeve and I've stitched the down part. Now this is how I'm going to stitch the sleeve. I'm going to first turn it to the right side. Now I'm grabbing my sleeve like this from the armhole, then I'm going to pin it all round and I'll stitch it, just making sure the seams are matching, the seam that's on the sleeve and the seam that's on my side seam, let me say like that. So I'm going to stitch it all round, and I'll repeat the same to the other sleeve. And when I'll be done with that, that will mark the end of this particular video. I'll see you on my next one, guys. Bye for now. Wonderful, isn't it? How wonderful.